Ah, the motorcycle crowd just gets older and older. Watch this video. Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. I hope you're all well. So, the grey beards, the grey whiskers are coming out on my face, and obviously nothing's growing on top anymore. Boo-hoo, it sucks to be me. But the motorcycle crowd in general is getting older and older. Now, I can only speak from experience. I can only speak of what I see. Now, I'm sure there are lots of younger people getting into motorcycling, but as we know, in a kind of general sense, less and less younger people are getting into motorcycling as their primary mode of transport, because we know electric bicycles, electric scooters, as in the stand-on scooters, they've really kind of taken over. And also, I don't think really there's a trend for young people to get into motorcycling in the numbers like they did years ago. And also, there's so many other different distractions these days for younger people. Whereas motorcycling, when I grew up, was a kind of form of entertainment in itself. Whereas I just don't think that's there anymore for a lot of young people. But if you go to a lot of motorcycle events here in the UK, I would say, and whether small or large, you're always going to get a cross section of people. But you go to some motorcycle events and it's just full of older people. And I'm talking, maybe slightly younger than me, but middle age, later age, and much into older age as well. There's lots of people with grey hair walking around. I was speaking to somebody recently at an event I was at, and I said, you never know, you might find your next husband here. And she said, well, they're all old. They're all old. And I was like, well, yeah, that's right. That's right, because the young people aren't coming into the motorcycle world anymore. Everybody's getting older. And I'm not just talking about the Harley-Davidson world. I'm not just talking about the cruising world or the adventure bike world or anything like that. I'm talking in general. If you go to motorcycle shows, yes, there are always, younger people milling around. But the majority of people there are middle-aged and older people. Now, there's lots of reasons for that as well. It's not just who are riding. It's also younger people may not even have that disposable income just to go to motorcycle shows or random motorcycle events. Whereas older people, yeah, they still value that. They still value that experience of going to shows, going to events, going to rallies, that kind of thing, meeting like-minded people. So this will say it's possibly not only a numbers thing in terms of younger people coming into the motorcycle world, but it's also younger people choosing not to go to traditional motorcycle events, let's say, because they'd rather do other stuff. Now, I know there are lots of programs out there that are trying to get younger people into two-wheeled modes of transport, and we won't really know until the next few years and the next generation whether these programs have worked, whether the young people are really going to get into motorcycling. What we do know is there's a problem with price as well, and it's not just the big expensive bikes that they're never going to be able to afford. Look, I remember when I was a young lad, I was never going to buy a brand new bike. I could never afford that. My parents could never afford that to buy that for me. In fact, my parents never bought me a bike. I was always scrimping and saving to buy bikes for myself, even when I was a young lad. We were 10 years old. Me and my brother, we scrimped and saved to buy this old bike. It was a couple of £100. We put all our savings that we'd worked for a couple of summers, and we clubbed together to buy this bike. And that's what kids were doing back then. That's what young people were doing to buy bikes. And I'm not sure that younger kids these days are doing that in any great numbers. And if they are, the bikes that are available to buy are just out of their price range. They're, even if you're talking about buying something off eBay, you're lucky if you get anything under 500. You're lucky if you get anything under 1,000, especially for a bike that they can ride problem-free, let's say, or relatively problem-free. Now, that's not to say you can't buy bikes cheaper, but as we know, bikes are inflated prices or overly inflated. I'm not even talking about the new bikes. I'm talking about used bikes as well. Now, I've made videos about this as a buyer's market, and potentially the prices can come down, and you never buy a bike or anything that you just can't afford, and hopefully you could drive the price down there a little bit, and maybe you can work out a better deal. But the reality is that if you can't afford it, you're not going to spend that money. And if there's nothing there that is affordable in suitable numbers, let's say, if there isn't a lot of choice that is affordable, that means that younger people or people who can't really afford a lot of money are not going to be buying those bikes or not going to be buying that product because there is nothing there that's affordable for them. So it's part fashion, part trend, it's part choice, part availability, part affordability that is preventing a lot of younger people getting into this motorcycle world. And that means that nothing's being backfilled. So you're not getting a mix of people at motorcycle events. You're not getting a mix of people anywhere in terms of, motorcycle events, motorcycle rallies, that kind of thing. You go to a motorcycle cafe, yeah, you get the odd younger person there. Of course you will. I'm not saying that young people don't get into motorcycle, don't go to motorcycle events. But the majority of people, just look around. The majority of people are middle-aged and older. Now, what does that say? That just tells you that there's a problem. That tells you that there's something not quite right. Now, as I say, it could be that younger people are just choosing not to go to these kinds of places on their motorcycles. They prefer to go elsewhere. And it could be that maybe there has to be a change for younger people as well in terms of motorcycle events. Maybe they want to go to somewhere different. Maybe they're going to create something different for themselves in the future. But right now, it's pretty obvious that the motorcycle crowd is just getting older. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I do here, just keep on watching the videos. Don't forget you can go to the website RevelatorAlf.com/books for all the motorcycle books and everything else that I sell there. You can find them on Amazon as well. And with that, I'll catch you again on another video coming very soon. Bye now.